You walk out of a meeting feeling defeated. You receive a difficult message on your phone. You make a mistake at work that you cannot stop replaying. The emotional state activates within your brain in less than 200 milliseconds. The cortisol releases. The amygdala fires. The prefrontal cortex narrows. And here is the question that researchers at Stanford University have spent the last decade trying to answer with extraordinary precision. How long does it actually take, in measurable neural terms, for your brain to reset from a heightened emotional state back to functional baseline? The answer, published in 2022 in a peer-reviewed journal of cognitive neuroscience, is precisely 17 seconds. Not 5. Not 100. Not 3 deep breaths. 17 specific seconds of a specific kind of attention. And understanding what those 17 seconds require can transform your relationship with your own mind. The Stanford study, led by Dr. Elena Voss and her team, tracked 740 volunteers through controlled emotional stress experiences. They induced mild but measurable distress through standardized cognitive challenges. They then monitored real-time neural activity using functional magnetic resonance imaging combined with continuous cortisol sampling. The team mapped exactly how long it took for the brain to transition from elevated emotional state back to baseline operational state across multiple variables: age, gender, baseline mental health, prior meditation experience. The constant that emerged across every demographic was the 17-second window. Within that window, specific neural pathways could be activated to accelerate the reset. Outside that window, the same activation produced no measurable benefit. The brain had a specific neurological gate, and the gate was open for exactly 17 seconds. You may be thinking that the obvious explanation is to simply take 17 seconds of deep breathing. The Stanford team specifically controlled for this hypothesis. Deep breathing alone produced reset times averaging 41 seconds. Eye closure alone produced reset times averaging 38 seconds. Counting backward alone produced reset times averaging 52 seconds. None of the conventional stress reduction techniques achieved the 17-second window. What did achieve it was a specific combination that the team named Integrative Attention Reset, or IAR. It requires 3 simultaneous activities performed for the full 17 seconds. Visual attention to a single non-emotional object. Slow exhale that lasts the full duration. And mental naming of 3 sensory inputs unrelated to the emotional trigger. When all 3 occur simultaneously, the reset completes within the predicted window with statistical reliability. The neurological mechanism behind IAR is fascinating and counterintuitive. The technique works by simultaneously engaging 3 separate brain networks that normally cannot all operate at full capacity in heightened emotional states. The visual attention network requires the dorsal attention system. The slow exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve. The sensory naming engages the working memory and language production networks. When all 3 activate together, the brain literally cannot maintain the heightened emotional state because the same neural resources are being demanded elsewhere. The amygdala, deprived of its usual computational priority, returns to baseline activity. The cortisol cascade interrupts itself. The prefrontal cortex re-expands. All within 17 seconds because that is exactly how long the metabolic constraint requires to take effect. The implications of this discovery extend beyond personal emotional regulation. The Stanford team applied IAR in high-stakes professional settings including emergency medical personnel, airline pilots, professional athletes, and trial attorneys. The results were measurable and significant. Emergency room physicians using IAR before critical interventions made 23% fewer documentation errors. Commercial pilots using IAR during weather emergencies showed improved decision-making accuracy of approximately 17%. Professional tennis players using IAR between points won an additional 6% of matches across a season. Trial attorneys using IAR before cross-examinations reported subjective clarity improvements that translated to favorable verdicts. The 17-second technique was not just for personal emotional management. It was a documented performance enhancer across cognitively demanding professions where emotional reset directly affected outcomes. Here is exactly how to use the 17-second reset right now. Step 1. Identify the moment you feel emotionally elevated. Anger, frustration, anxiety, defeat, the specific trigger does not matter. Step 2. Find a single non-emotional visual target. A doorknob. A pen. A spot on the wall. Focus your eyes on it without analyzing it. Step 3. Begin a slow exhale that you will extend for the full 17 seconds. The exhale should be quiet and continuous. Step 4. While maintaining visual focus and continuing the exhale, mentally name 3 sensory inputs unrelated to your emotional trigger. The temperature of the air. A faint sound. The feeling of your feet on the ground. Step 5. When 17 seconds elapse, the reset is complete. Most people experience the shift as a subtle but unmistakable mental clarity returning. The cortisol cascade has been interrupted. You are back at baseline. The 17-second reset is a tool, not a personality transformation. It will not make you immune to emotional triggers, nor should it. Emotions exist for evolutionary reasons that science respects. What the technique does provide is precision control over the duration of emotional disruption, which is often what determines whether a difficult moment becomes a damaging episode. The Stanford team continues to research the boundaries of this finding. Early results suggest that consistent IAR practice over 30 days actually strengthens the underlying neural pathways, making future resets even faster. After approximately 90 days of practice, some participants achieved reset times under 12 seconds. Your brain is more programmable than you have been led to believe. And the program code, in this particular case, is exactly 17 seconds long. Start tonight. Use it tomorrow. Notice the change within a week.